Looks like this is the kind of the third straight day, full pads. It feels like a game week almost.
Second straight day of full. We were half pads Monday.
Oh, okay.
Then full on Tuesday and Wednesday. And well, one of our big points of emphasis, you know, like we were talking about coming out of the game, was our tackling. And we needed to tackle better, and we needed to work on it. You can't just talk about it. You have to work on it and do it. And today was much improved in the tackling area, which was really encouraging. Today was a great practice. I'll tell you what, we challenged our scout team guys to give better looks and to give more effort and bring more effort. They brought it. Our team period was extremely competitive. Both sides of the ball really engaged, and it was a lot of fun. I had a blast today.
Sounds like you guys, particularly at the end, were having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What was that drill?
It was just a competitive goods on goods. You know, we went an 18-play period there against each other, and the guys were battling. If one side won one play, the other side would come back and win the other, and kind of got more escalated and exciting. And so I loved it. For a Wednesday on a bye week, I couldn't have asked for more from an energy standpoint.
We asked Wilcox yesterday about the tackling and what you got to get some live in, but you got to be smart about it, obviously, particularly in a bye week. What specifically did you guys work on?
Early in the week on Monday, we really tried to focus on our technique, so that we were using the proper technique, one. Then you can go into actually doing the live tackling. So that worked its way till today. And we did a good live tackling drill with the offense and the defensive players. And it's the same one we did a couple weeks ago prior to the Boise game. And we weren't very good at it a couple weeks ago. We were much improved today. So that was really encouraging.
Jaydon said that he's kind of been able to clear his head from last year. He was maybe mentally overwhelmed with trying to understand everything, and that kind of slowed him down.
Right.
Are you able to, how do you get someone through that, and did you see that in the first game?
Oh, without a doubt. I think he's much more confident. He's always been somewhat of a confident guy, just in general, but I think there's genuine confidence coming from Jaydon. I think he's matured, not just on the football field, but just in general. He's his second year of college. And I think the system is good for him. I think that it allows him to line up and do the things that he does well. And through repetition and through success, tell me if I'm going to get hit in the back of the head. Through repetition and through success, that confidence has grown, and the belief in his ability to play really well has grown. And not only is it for himself, I think he's become a nice mentor to some of our younger receivers in knowing and understanding what they're going through as true freshmen and trying to fight through it and play. And he's been there for him, and I think that it's just a real tribute to Jaydon. He had a great first game, and hopefully you can build upon it.
As a head coach, Steve, how have you evolved on how you practice tackling? I mean, what you thought you might do in the first few days?
Well, again, I think, as I touched on earlier, I think the technique side of it is vitally important, to work the technique of it. I think what I've tried to do a really better job of and be more clear with the team is when it's okay to tackle, when it's okay to go to the ground, and when it's not. And they really have grasped that now. They really understand it. It probably took me to throw a little bit of a tantrum there in the middle of training camp to finally get it across to them. But we understand now when it's okay to tackle and when it's time to stay up. And those lines aren't blurred anymore. And I think that has probably been the best thing for me, that is really clear with the guys of, hey, we're going to the ground, we're playing football, we're doing all that. Now we're in fed mode, now we're staying up. And when you can do that, now I can really count the reps of, okay, how much live, how much isn't, how much pounding are our guys taking. So that's been good. That's been good for us. And then just knowing when you need it as a focus, like this week, you can focus on it and you can see the results of us getting better at doing it.
Are there certain guys that you're holding out just to kind of get them fresh?
Yeah. I mean, we just kind of looking at long term and looking at number of reps in the first game and where we're headed and then where we think we need to improve our depth, where some other guys we need to expose them to more plays and practice right now to get them more involved, whether it's on special teams or on offense or defense. And so that side of it's been pretty good for us as well.
I know on Monday you talked about trying to find some frontline starters on special teams. Have any guys emerged?
Well, I'm hopeful of that. You know, I'll be much more clear tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll work all 4 phases in one practice. But I really want to get Kevin King going more on special teams. I want to get Trevor Walker going more on special teams. I think that Darrell Daniels and Damari Stringfellow can have a real factor on special teams as well. So there's those types of guys that are really good and highly touted athletes that are in our program that are working their way in on offense or defense, but can definitely be a factor on special teams, big, strong, fast guys that I think can help us.
Back in March when you went to the super second speed offense, were you doing it then to see, let's see how this looks like and maybe use it, or were you hell bent on doing it?
No, I was trying to assess it. You know, I mean, I wanted to go into spring ball and do it full-fledged to see what it was going to be like. I wasn't sure at the time if it was going to be a full-time thing or a sometime thing or just a change-up. We had used it as a change-up the last couple seasons, and so I just felt like the way it went in spring and how difficult it is to try to do both, to be a team that huddles and shifts and motions and uses multiple personnel groupings, but then try to be a team that coaches going fast and getting lined up. And that was where I got to the point of, okay, are we going to really invest in this and do it? If we are, then let's do it. And so that was the final decision coming out of spring. We weren't perfect coming out of spring, but that was the final decision of, okay, this is what we want to become. Now how can we make it even better and make it even sharper? And it's a credit to our staff for their commitment to it, and then ultimately our players for their commitment and buying into it as well.
What did you then have to, did you change conditioning in April, May, June?
We changed some of the conditioning stuff with Ivan, where probably the most significant conditioning came in the summer, and that's all volunteer conditioning, and for our guys to be as committed to the conditioning, knowing of what they were in store for the start of training camp was the biggest difference. We used to just send them home for about the last 8 or so days prior to training camp. We sent them home about 2 weeks before training camp, and then brought them back for the last 5 or 6 days prior to training camp for our voluntary conditioning again to get them prepared for training camp. And I thought that was a big factor. We minimized some of our hitting early on in training camp, especially on our ones, and tried to develop our depth with our 2s and 3s. I think that's been helpful. Guys are more confident when they go in the game. All of it worked pretty well this year. Our injuries are down. I think we're in really good condition. I think we have a good understanding as a whole, not just our frontline guys, but as a whole of our systems on offense and defense.